Have you ever longed to be alone, only to realize that the quiet was slowly turning into something else? We seek solitude to rest, to recover. But in psychology, there is an invisible tipping point, where peace you choose turns into a prison with no locked doors. This video is not about saying being alone is bad. This video is about the moment you lose control of it. Part 1. The seductive song of the hideout. It usually begins beautifully. A quiet evening, a closed door, no interruptions, no explanations, no effort. Modern society even encourages it. Me time, self-care, being alone to recharge. And that's true. Intentional solitude supports focus, creativity, and self-reflection. But the problem isn't the silence. The problem begins when you start thinking, going out right now isn't necessary. Talking feels exhausting. Being alone is just easier. And the quiet starts to feel heavy. Part 2. Invisible cracks. The danger doesn't arrive as a shock. It comes through very small changes. You lose motivation for things you once enjoyed. You delay or decline invitations. You begin to rationalize avoiding connection. I'm just introverted. People drain me. I work better alone. This is a cognitive trap. When you believe all interaction is negative, you begin creating the very thing you fear. One day becomes a week becomes a month, and at this point, solitude is no longer a choice, it becomes a compulsory habit. Part 3. When the prison is built inside the brain. Psychology and neuroscience show prolonged isolation is not neutral. It changes the brain. The nervous system becomes more tense. The brain grows more sensitive to anxiety. Stress responses intensify. At the same time, social skills begin to rust. You don't meet people. Meeting people feels harder. You avoid more, and the loop closes. Worse still, extended isolation distorts perception. You misread intentions. You feel like you don't belong. You doubt your own worth. At this point, the prison no longer needs walls. End of sentence. Strong Part 4. Recognizing when the hideout becomes a prison. Ask yourself one critical question. Am I choosing to be alone? Or am I afraid to connect? The difference lies in control. Healthy solitude, you can return anytime. Dangerous isolation, you want to return but don't dare. When quiet makes you shrink instead of expand, you've hit the wall. Strong Part 5. Breaking the prison. Small, intentional connections. Escaping doesn't require a dramatic leap. It requires small, steady, real movement. A short message. A low-pressure video call. A group activity where you don't have to talk much. This isn't socializing, it's social nutrition. Just as the body needs varied food, the mind needs different forms of connection. Most importantly, don't blame yourself. This is a neuropsychological process, not a personal failure. Part 6. Reclaiming your hideout. Solitude is not the enemy. Losing choice is. Healthy solitude is intentional, bounded, has a way back. Schedule connection the way you schedule rest. Let silence be a place to recharge, not a place to hide from life. When you understand this psychological wall, you don't need to destroy your quiet. You only need to open one more door. A strong life is not lived in constant noise, but in the ability to move freely between solitude and connection, without getting trapped in either.